Nisha K, Sembi, and I am an artist, a street artist, and a fine artist. I also do work with digital artwork. Growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area, I was raised in a really urban environment, and so I remember like waking up and going to school every day. We used to just like pass graffiti all the time. I was always surrounded by graffiti and always surrounded by hip-hop music. I was always experimenting with artwork and drawing, and I used to draw on the walls and in my notebooks, and I was sort of considered the class artist growing up. I started to actually work as a professional Mehndi artist, and I used to do weddings and parties and things like that. I just wanted to explore other art mediums because I just wasn't satisfied with practicing with Mehndi alone. I never took an art class, maybe just like small ones here and there, but it was never anything that really taught me to master the craft that I've taken on, especially with spray paint, you know what I mean? Like, I never took a class on how to spray paint. That was just something that I had to learn on my own, and something that I had to learn just through meeting other graffiti artists and practicing with different materials and caps and cans. And I used to always see these pieces up on these like crazy high walls, and I used to think, how do those people paint that? It was at my Mama G's house, and we went over, and it was all us young kids, and we like snuck up to his bedroom, which was in the attic, and we all go into his room. We open the door, and his whole bedroom is just like covered in graffiti from top to bottom, and he just had like tapes and notebooks and like sketches and photos, and I was just like, oh my god, that was really a life-changing moment for me. And I started to talk to him more about it, and throughout the years he's really served as a mentor to me. You know, being a Punjabi girl, I didn't really have any Punjabi role models to look up to, or any Indian role models to look up to that were doing graffiti or that were even involved in hip-hop culture in general. He used to write Hero back in the 80s in Oakland, California, and is the only other Punjabi graffiti artist that I've ever met in my life, and he happens to be my uncle. I originally started experimenting with spray paint because I started to do like community organizing at a really young age, and so I was like, when I was like 16, 17, I was organizing like protests and rallies and marches against different injustices that we were facing. As I started to grow up, I started to build my network of artists, and I started meeting other graffiti artists, and I really went to school with them, sort of thing. Like, they taught me so much about artwork through their own experiences, and I think that that's something that you don't really get at school. When I went to university, I decided to explore the idea of graphic design because it still had an artistic element to it, but then it was also sort of socially acceptable in its own way. And so I had a conversation with my parents, and we kind of decided that that would be the best option for me. And so when I was starting to take my graphic design classes, I was so excited because I was thinking, like, all the things that I've been exploring with up to this point, I'm going to be able to expand on. But then when I started the degree program, I realized that graphic design is a completely different world than spray painting and art. My experiences as a graffiti artist really helped me as a graphic designer because I apply a lot of those creative elements that I use towards creating a piece. And I apply those to a lot of the digital artwork that I do. So I think that what set me apart as a graphic designer was the fact that I did incorporate a lot of like hand-drawn elements to my work. And when I was in school, not a lot of people were doing that. I try to use my artwork to express a positive message, and a message that evokes thought in people and evokes a certain sense of wanting to get up and change society, whether it be rebelling against this whole notion that you're only supposed to be like a lawyer, academic, mathematician, doctor, to express yourself creatively. And a lot of the artwork that I produce, I feel like I create it in a way that reaches out to like young brown folks like me and you, because we don't really get to see that too often in society, and I like to create artwork that resonates with people that look like me because I never had that growing up. Well, I think that having the exhibition in London was really the first step to having more exhibitions in London and throughout the whole world, because my first art show, my first solo art show ever, was this art show called War to Your Motherland, which I actually developed with Amandeep Sethi. And it was an art show that was dedicated towards the fusion of hip-hop culture and Indian culture, which is what I do with my graffiti art. And any of my pieces that I create on a wall, I always add sort of an Indian flavor to it, just to just reflect my own cultural background. And so War to Your Motherland was really paying homage to that, and it was such a huge success, just the blending of those two cultures, that we actually sat down and we decided to turn it into a traveling exhibit. And so eventually the main goal would be to bring War to Your Motherland across the world and do a War to Your Motherland in a place like in the UK and London, where I feel like a lot of people are hungry to see a show like that. And so having an exhibition here with Saucy and with Rich Mix is just the first step towards creating that path.